It's time for another Out of Bounds Rewind with Bo Bounds on ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
I never thought Lemonis and the staff, and again, you're right, they could rip off 8 in a row. I don't think the 2016 comparison's really valid, but I get where you're going because I just don't think you have Rooker, Mangum, Dakota, and several other guys. But I never thought Lemonis and the staff would be in this situation where they're about to rely on 4 to 5 really, really young arms, Steve, to try to get to 34 and 25. Yeah, 34 wins. I just never thought that they would be in this situation. Your thoughts?
I think that's a fair assessment. The one thing I will say about the 2016 season, just to kind of defend my point, John Cohen was coaching for his job in 16. I mean, 15 was just like last year. You missed Hoover. You missed the tournament. You weren't competitive down the stretch. And you had Dakota Hudson step up. The difference was Dakota Hudson had been in your program. Austin Sexton had been in your program. And then Pilkington shows up as a young guy, takes over late. And so you needed everything to go right. And of course, you have the new addition of Kruger and Nathaniel Lowe. Of course, those guys ended up being, making the show.
MLB,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't see that coming, obviously. But the question, and I've asked this last year, and this I'll just put it out there as it is, how does Mississippi State baseball get to a point that you don't have a couple of established starters? I mean, how does that happen? Right? And it's been that way, for a few years. And I know the portal's a new thing, everything else, but I just don't understand how Mississippi State baseball is just like you said, is having to be so reliant on first-year players from the high school ranks to come in and put a pitching staff together. I mean, that just should never be. I mean, not at Mississippi State.
I couldn't agree more. And look, this is nothing against Cade Smith because you are who you are. I'm not convinced. I know he's not a Friday night guy right now. I'm not convinced he's a dominant Saturday night guy. I mean, you may be working with 3 or 4 Sunday guys for your rotation on the weekends, depending what Lofton and Sinjay do, but that's a lot of pressure on true freshmen. All right, Steve, thanks for jumping in on late notice. Appreciate it.
Sure. Take care.
GenesPage.com, the Boneyard Podcast. He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line.
Don't miss one moment of the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Weekdays, 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. on ESPN 105.9, The Zone.